Virtualization is a key technology, especially in terms of server consolidation, server virtualization. It will reduce footprint, it will reduce data center costs and management costs if you choose the right virtualization vendor. But we also need to think about service quality and service levels. And in order to take that next step, the next key technology or key step is around integration. To integrate your application tier with the management practices that you have. And if you take that next step and take feeds from the application tier into a management standard, then you can take the next step, which is to automate certain processes, automating new provisioning, automating new application instances, etc., etc. So if I automate the process, then I allow people to be released from day-to-day management roles of looking at green lights to fulfilling more strategic roles that the IT department is looking for them to do. So I think virtualization is a very broad subject. And most people will think about server consolidation or server virtualization, but there is application virtualization to consider, either through thin client or through application abstraction. Data center virtualization with virtualizing below the server tier, below the hardware tier. Key technologies, but organizations must think about integration and automation at the same time. So IT absolutely has a role to play in delivering revenue for an organisation. Obviously it is different from organisation to organisation in terms of, if you look at some of the examples where people like mobile phone carriers, for example, are using IT to consolidate a customer view. So I get one customer view, so I can understand what products this customer isn't buying, has bought in the past, is no longer buying. So I can do two things. I can increase customer yield and I can increase customer loyalty. So whilst that may not be a direct measurement, it may not be getting me new customers, it is keeping customers on board and allowing me to sell new service. But also the different ways of doing business. So one of our customers, for example, moved from a traditional paper-based booking model to a booking model delivered over the web. And they saw very quickly a 50% increase in revenue passing through their business as a travel company, now part of the Thomas Cook Group. They saw that immediately and it was measurable. What is quite interesting is the different split between public and private sector. Now, I think it goes without saying that private sector organisations, competitiveness is key to being successful. How that fits into the public sector in terms of competition might not seem immediately obvious, but with consolidation within these regions coming up, and been happening over time, it's actually quite important for these IT teams that they get their infrastructures to be efficient, cost efficient, and deliver good customer service. Big part of local government is customer relationship management, for example. So cloud computing, which seems to be prevalent in the press and the world these days, I think there's a lot of benefit to be derived from the cloud. I know of certain organisations who you wouldn't think immediately as being a cloud consumer are using it for development and test purposes, because it is easier for their developers to get their corporate credit card out, go and build an instance in the cloud, do their development work, download the results and move on, than it is maybe to ask the IT department to spin up a very short-term instance for them. But it has implications, and implications certainly around data security, where the domain in which the data lives. Would a financial services institution, because of the compliance and the rules and regulations about tracking of transactions, are they suitable for utilisation of the cloud? Maybe not currently, maybe in the future it may change. What I do find interesting is that the cloud providers have been traditionally organisations who have relied on their IT for their business. So if you look at the most notable ones, probably Google and Amazon, these are organisations that understood many years ago that in order to be profitable, in order to be efficient and agile and continuous, they had to standardise very heavily on how they deploy and how they manage their IT environments. And this is almost like an extension of that as a service that they offer to the consumer. I think where we're going as an organisation is around, yes, adoption of the cloud is important, it may be suitable for some services, but maybe what organisations need to think of is adopting this private cloud initiative, which basically is a public cloud with corporate governance.